Hello, my name is Professor John Benjamin. This is West Virginia Wesleyan College, and this is web design. And today we will be teaching you how to create hyperlinks, lists, and tables. All right, let's begin. So you'll want to open Dreamweaver. And when you do, there will be some recent files, and you can quickly access your files through there. But I think it's always a good habit to really get in the habit of always accessing your files through the Files tab. And so here, from the last episode, we established your site and we created your index. So what we want to do is now go ahead and open up that index by simply double-clicking on it. All right, and this is where we left off last time. And so we're going to add some new pages today. So the other thing that you'll want to do is to open Canvas to the in-class T2 Hyperlinks Tables and Lists tutorial. And you don't have to do that. You can just follow the tutorial, but there is some code in here that copying and pasting will be a little easier than hand keying. But let's go over a few pieces of terminology. So we've talked about HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language. This is the standard language for the World Wide Web. So browsers understand this language, and that's what they read to create a visual interface. Now, HTML works with tags. So these define all of the structure and the color and all of the visuals that we see. Now, all tags start with a beginning and ending angle bracket. They're greater than less than signs, but we call them angle brackets. And they always have, with only a few exceptions, a beginning and an ending tag. Syntax is simply the rules governing the structure of this program language. It specifies how words and symbols are put together, statements and expressions. HTML editor. We talked about this in the slideshow. This is what Dreamweaver is. All an editor is just a really sort of robust, complicated text editor. Because remember, that's all hypertext markup language is. It's just regular text written in code, saved with files with certain tags. So what Dreamweaver does is it helps us organize all these files. It just facilitates the process a little bit better and helps us work in teams. Now, a little bit later, we'll be going over Bootstrap. And Bootstrap is what Dreamweaver utilizes. It's called a UI, or user interface framework. It's the most popular UI framework in the world, although other frameworks like Skeleton are coming up and becoming more and more popular. And what Bootstrap does is it has sort of some prefabricated code that we can utilize to kind of make our lives easier when creating RWD, or responsive web design. All right, so here are some basic tabs. When we open up a document, all of these will already be set up for us. You can hand key them, but they need to be there. And so the first tag is HTML. This defines the language of the page. The next tag is the head. So we have the beginning or the opening tag for head, and then the ending tag. And then everything in the head is non-visual information. Typically, or predominantly, it's linking to other files like cascading style sheets or JavaScript. Then you'll see this meta character set, UTF-8. So this is just telling us the character set that we're going to be working with. It used to be ASCII, but that was very limited. So this is the new one, UTF-8. And as the HTML evolves, that will change. And then next is the title. And this is the words that appear in the tab at the top of the browser. So this is very important, not just so when people read the tab, it tells them where they are or what it is. But more importantly, it's good for SEO. So having a really clear title. Then we get down and they see the head ends. The title is in the head, and so is the meta character set. And then we get down to where we work, and that's always and everything between the body tags. And that's where all the visual information goes. All right, so we're going to create a basic web page. All right, so let's go back to Dreamweaver. And you can see all of this is here. And Dreamweaver does a really wonderful color coding system. So the tags are all in blue. The text we see is in white. The parameters are in yellow. And then those parameters are defined. And right here is the ampersand is in red. That's telling me that I really should have a code instead of the ampersand. The first thing that I want to do before we create a second page is create a folder. So let's do that. So right here we have our index. So let's go ahead and create a folder. We're going to create a folder to separate all of our lab files from some of our other files, like the web pages that we create. So we're going to do that now. So to do that, you just simply, in your Files tab, come to the drop-down menu, and under File, and then say New Folder. And we're going to call this simply Labs. All right, so we want to create a new file to put inside that folder. So easiest way to do that is select that folder. You can right-click and just say New File. And we're going to call this Lab 1. All right, now we want to open up Lab 1, so we're just going to go ahead and double-click. And there it is. And thanks to Dreamweaver, it gives us all of the important tags to get things started. All right, so we're going to put some code in here. So let's go back to Canvas to copy and paste that code. And the code I've laid out for you here is in pink. So you can hand key this or just simply copy and paste it. Now remember to paste it between your body tags. That's where everything's going to go. So always be careful to do that. And you can hit return and put as much space in here. You can see all of the lines of code are numbered. But while we're coding, you can be a little messy. And sometimes it's good to put a little visual space in there so you know that you're just working with this group here between the body tags. And there you have it. But then it's always a good habit, like I mentioned before, to just simply go to Edit, Code, and Apply Source Formatting. And then it's all tidied up for you. And then it's in a much more pleasing format for the browser to read. All right, there we have it. So we have some tags. We've got this home, which is just a paragraph tag, so that's why it's smaller. Lab 1 is an H1 tag, so it's larger. And here we can type your name. I'll type my name. Now here's a nice, really interesting thing that happened. So I accidentally deleted this little tag. Now notice I get a little alert, a little angry red sign that's saying, okay, there's some problems here. And it'll tell me tag must be paired with the H2. Here it says special character must be escaped. So it's telling me that I'm missing my angle bracket. So I'll just go ahead and put that back in there. But there's also another signal. You'll see here that all lines of code have to have a beginning and an ending tag. If I click on this H2, nothing lights up. You can see here if I click on HTML, the beginning and ending tag highlight, head, so on and so forth, body, and I click on that H2, there's no closing H2 tag that's lighting up because I deleted that angle bracket. Now they light up. Very good. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and type my name. Great. All right, this is a basic web page with hyperlinks. Well, there are no hyperlinks yet. All right, so let's go and add some hyperlinks. So if we want to link two pages together, there's several ways to do this, but again, this is a web editor, so it's going to help us a little bit. So I want this home to be a link that goes back to my index, my home page. So to do that, I can simply highlight the word home, and I can say Insert Hyperlink. Now I can hand key the link, that's fine, or I can just simply click on this folder. And that's going to take me to my folders where I keep my files. And so here it's taking me to my labs folder, but I want to go back a level to my whole site. So here is the folder in my documents folder where you should have set up your site from the last class. And in there is my index and my labs, which we just created. So I want this to link back to the index. So I simply highlight that and I say open. And then what's happened here is it's sort of written that code for me. Now notice it has a double dot backslash. Now what that means is, whenever you see that is, it means it has to go, this file has to go through this folder to get to the index. And that's what the slash means. Remember, slash indicates a folder. Double dot indicates one level of one folder. So it's got to go through the labs to get to the index. All right, so let's give it a target. New is if you want to click on a link and a new tab pops up in your browser. Self is if you want it to click on the link and then it stays in the same tab. So in this case, we're going to select self. And it's going to go to home, so we'll see that, and we have to worry about those, and we hit OK. And you can see what Dreamweaver did. We could have hand-keyed this code, and often you will, but it sort of wrote the code for us. So it makes things a little easier and helps you avoid making hand-keying mistakes. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this split horizontally, just so you can see it better. And so this is why we have split horizontally and vertically, so for different times. Like so here I can see that full line of text without it breaking. So it's a little easier to understand. So let's take a look and see what Dreamweaver did for us. It created a hyperlink. Now the tag for a hyperlink is an A space href, which stands for hypertext reference. Now every hypertext reference starts with an A and ends with an A, so that's really important. Now here, href is telling us what it's going to do. It's going to be a hyperlink, and then this in the gold between the quotation marks, you have to have the quotes. It's telling us where it's going to go. It's going to go up one folder to the index, and it has a title, and the target is self. All right, cool. And now you can see up here, it is an underlined hyperlink. And see, when I roll over it, it tells me where I'm going. I'm going to the home page. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save, because recall, there's a little asterisk here, and that means we haven't saved yet. So I'm going to go ahead and Command S and save that. All right, so now this page will link, when I click on it, to this. I wouldn't click on it here. You can, but it gets things a little messed up. So I wouldn't really kind of interact with your pages. The live code part is really mostly just a simulation so you can see how it looks. The interactive elements, they do work, but I tend to avoid them. All right, so what we want to do now is that's going to take us home. I want the index to take us back to Lab 1. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So if we go back to Canvas, we have these instructions here, although this one's a little bit different. Okay, so here's the next bit. We're going to insert the code for Lab 1 here. So I'm going to go ahead and hand key this, but you can copy and paste it from here if you like. So I'm back here on index 1. You can double click on here to get there if you like. And after the body, I have to make sure that I'm inside the body. So I'm going to put my cursor here on line 11 and hit return. Then I'm going to type in angle bracket P, closing angle bracket. Now here's an amazing thing again Dreamweaver did. It knows that every tag has to have an ending tag, so it automatically gave me the closing P bracket, the paragraph ending tag. And then I'm just going to go ahead and type lab 1 in here. Great. I want to hyperlink lab 1 back to the lab 1 file. So I'm going to highlight it, say insert hyperlink. Here I'm going to click on the folder. It's going to take me here, and I'm at the index. I'm going to select the labs, and I'm going to go to lab 1 HTML. That's where I'm going. I'm going from the index. It's going to link lab 1 to here. So I just select on lab 1 my file, and I click open. Target, I want it to be self, and title, it's lab 1. Okay. And once again, it wrote us the same text that we asked it to. So href equals, now notice, it's going through the labs folder, because it has the slash, and that's the name of the labs folder, to the lab1.html file. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit save. Right? So there's no asterisks there. That's important. If you put files onto the server before they're saved, they won't look right. It'll put the last saved version. So if you have an asterisk, things won't work. So you always have to make sure you save first. All right, so then we're going to come over here, select your site right at the top, and go ahead and say put, or put file to remote server. So that's what we want to do. And it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to put the entire site? In this case, yes. We want all the files to go up, since we've added some new ones. Hopefully if all goes well, there you have it. You don't see anything. We can click this little button here, and then we can see if things have gone here. So here's our local files, and I can see if they're there. And you can see that the server files are identical to the local files. But like I said before, the best way to test this out is to go to your website. So I'm going to go to my browser. And I already have mine pulled up here. It's wesleyanwebdesign.000 hostapp.com. So if you've forgotten your URL, just go and log into 000, and then you can find it there. But hopefully you've written this down. And that's all you have to do is just simply write down that. You don't need the index part. You can hit return. Okay, so here's my index. Remember, your URL links to your index.html file, so you typically won't see it. And now if I hit refresh, you may need to hit refresh, I now see lab 1, and it has a hyperlink. So I'm going to go ahead and click on lab 1, and voila, it takes me to, remember my folder here, it's in a subfolder, so /labs/ lab1.html. Here's the file within that folder. And then once again, if I hit home, it'll take me back to my index. Now, you can do that two ways. I could have linked that home to just that URL right there, but I wanted to link it to my index. So lab1 and home. And there you've created a website. You have a home page and another web page. So that's pretty exciting. All right. So now let's add an ordered list and a table. Back to Dreamweaver. Okay, so here we are. We're now going to work in Lab 1. Now, if you've noticed, what we're going to do with your index throughout the course is add a series of hyperlinks that take you to other files, like your labs, Lab 1, Lab 2, Lab 3, and then your websites, your first and your second website. Okay, so in here, we're going to add first an ordered list. So remember, we have to stay in the body. So I find the last ending tag here, and I just hit return. Now if you want, you can go back to Canvas and scroll down to here. So you can hand key this, but it's much easier if you just go ahead and select it and copy. And then I'm just going to paste it right there. And as usual, it's always good to just kind of go edit, code, apply source formatting, and things are all nice and tidy. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've done here. We've added some bullets. So what's the code for adding bullets? First, you have to have what's called an unordered list, a UL. And then within the unordered list, you have list items, or LI. So now, what is an unordered list? Well, it's a list of things that aren't in order. They're just bullets. So that's what UL means. Now, if I go ahead and change this U to an O, and this U to an O, then voila, I've got an ordered list. So OL for ordered list. But we're going to just use bullets. So UL. So we'll put that back. But now remember, you have to tell it which kind. That's the beginning and ending tag. The list items go in here. All right. Cool. So that's an unordered list. Great. Very easy peasy. Let's go now and create a table. So once again, I would go back to Canvas and I would just highlight this and copy and then paste it. You're going to paste it after your last closing tag before the body closing tag. So put a little space in there if you like and paste. Once again, it's a little messy. Apply source formatting. Great. And you can see how HTML code works. It creates hierarchy based on tabs. And so it'll do that for you. Okay, so tables are a little more complicated. Let's take a look here. We've got our beginning and ending table tag, and then the table body. And this, you can apply styles to the whole table or to just the contents within the body. So now you have table rows. So that's here and here. And then within the rows, you have TD. So table rows, table data, or table data cells. Now the individual cells. I always feel like it should be rows and columns, but it's TD for table data. And so you can see how it's broken down here. We've got 3 rows. So we've got apple, banana, and dragon in the first row, and then kiwi, orange, lemon in the second row. And notice too, if you click on something in the live view, it will put the cursor there in your code view. Great, it's a table. There it is. It looks great, although it doesn't really look that good because you can't tell it's a table. There's no borders. There's no styles. So let's show you how to create an inline style. We'll talk about cascading style sheets next time. This is an inline style. So I just want to apply some color and maybe a line weight change to just this specific table. All right, so let's go back to Canvas. So we can simply just copy this. What we're going to do is, you can do one of two things. You can select this whole bit, or you can just select the purple bit, is what I would do here. So just that little bit right there between table and the closing bracket. Let's go ahead and copy that. And we're going to paste that right here, right after the word table before its closing angle bracket. I'm going to hit paste. I've got to put a little space there. Okay, and so what did I do? Before, if I hit undo, you can see there's just table. But if I hit redo, there's table with some styles, and the styles go inside the angle brackets. So I said I wanted the width of the table to be 200, border of 1, and the color is FF0004, and all the rules are colored red. Now I can change these. I can change the border to 3 or 31. Whoops. Oof. There you go. It's a thicker border. Let's make it. And the border color. Now this is the hexadecimal system. So a hexadecimal system is a system of numbers and letters that is indicated in the syntax with the pound sign. Now if you want, there are some preloaded colors like blue. And if you want blue, you don't get to specify what blue, it's just blue. And take out the hashtag. But if you go in there where it says color, hit delete, and then hit the space bar, you will get a little color picker. And here, we can go ahead and select whatever color we want. And notice, whenever we change this color picker, it gives us the hexadecimal code. You can just hit return to enter that. And so now it's this nice teal color, which is 0C6356. All right, and that's today's lab. So go ahead, make sure you save that and select your site. And then, of course, put your files onto the web. And then the last item to do is once you've put your files is to go to your website. So here's mine. I'm going to hit refresh. And there's my new changes because I refreshed it. And what I'd like you to do then is go to home here. Just highlight your URL right there. Go ahead and copy that. And then you're going to paste that into the submit box here in Canvas. Now I don't have a submit box because I'm the instructor, but somewhere down here there should be a little submit box. Maybe it's up here, I can't recall. Paste your URL into that box and hit submit. And then that's the assignment. All right. Well, thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.